This is AIC's official YouTube channel. We have a lot of content being created here in English as well as in Sinhala for students who would like to have fantastic information before they meet us. So mostly I always tell students to do some personal searches, do an individual search, and once you go through this, you will understand what we are basically there in for. Now, let me take you through something very important at the moment, and I might just juggle around here and there while I'm admitting students to the particular session. IMC AIC Campus is a fully fledged campus for teaching medical and non-medical educational programs. We basically developed a potential among Sri Lankan students to launch universities where students would get admitted to focus on their doctor dream. That is what you see on my screen at the moment. So these are some universities for students who would want to go into a medical pathway. So you have your cousins, friends, relatives, anyone who is looking for a medical school, we would be operating through this. Now, today's discussion is happening through the sister company of IMC, which you can see in your screen at the moment from the AIC campus. So AIC campus has a range of universities which you can select it, like from the country-wise. Let me add some students at the moment. You can select your options based on the countries we have, from Australia to France to UK to Malaysia, United States, Belarus, Canada, and Germany. Also, you can look into it program-wise. So we have also arranged it depending on the school of specialization. So what's the specialization you guys are looking at? You would find the relevant content here. You will get an overview of the program. You will get the overview of the subjects, the duration, and the method of delivery, as well as a connecting number for a counselor whom you would want to go and reach yourself with. So this is part of the AIC campus of what we have. And with this AIC campus, you guys are going to be working with a reputed Sri Lankan college, which has almost 21 years of experience in handling medical education around Sri Lanka. We've produced psychology related batches in the last couple of years as well. We have an ongoing program already with us, but we have something even more super fantastic and new to offer you here with the highest American psychology degree. That's the whole purpose of this particular seminar. Right. So that is all what I will do from my side. In between, when I introduce some of the lecturers who are going to speak to you with today, I'll show you how do we conduct some of our psychology courses. So you will get a taste of how the classes happens here. Now, to introduce this program, I would call upon Dr. Gishan Sumanasiri to share the screen and to come on board to take us through what exactly is going to be the content, what exactly is going to be the offering, and where exactly is the student going to be placed with this particular program. So, Dr. Gishan Sumanasiri, over to you.
Good morning, Intikab. I would love to welcome all the students and parents who are joining with us today, and then would love to say hi to Dr. Emmanuel, Professor Emmanuel Otto. So you can see the campus behind us. So I'm today the virtual screen. You can see the newly built AIC IMC campus. So today, what I was thinking is I wanted to have a discussion with our students and parents to introduce a very important program. I think especially during this pandemic time and even after pandemic, because we always are concerned about the psychological well-being, the mental situation, and as Intikab said, we have a very strong focus on medicine. So in addition to medicine actually, if you look at the definitions, there are many definitions. So most of the medical degree programs look at largely to the physiological, the biological aspect of the human. But then there is underlying psychological aspect, which is also important, because the body has to be guided and aided by the mind, which is also very important, extremely important in situations like this, because I see with the pandemic situation in the world, including Sri Lanka, there are a lot of people with a certain level of depression, certain level of anxiety, certain phobia, and people, wherever people are, we will find that the psychology is a discussion, even in a corporate boardroom, even inside a school, even inside a family. So this is a very interesting topic. And today is an important day to AIC, Inti, right? Because yes, we are celebrating our 5th year, I think, on today, and we are just started registered 6 years ago. So I think Professor Otto, I'm very happy that we are launching our psychology program. This is a dream come true personally for me and for AIC and IMC, because we have now affiliated, and we are offering the highest ranked psychology degree in Sri Lanka. And I'm glad University of Wisconsin Parkside is our partner in this journey. So it's a long journey, and we are just starting our first step today. So without much delay, let me take our students and parents through the introduction of our program. Let me share my screen. Right. So today we've thought of, we have decided to do a small introduction about our program, and I have just hold on, I'm trying to figure this out.
How if we make that 100%, Dr. Gishan?
This one, right?
You go top, yeah, it's at 130%. Is this because you are using an Apple device?
Yes. You want to, I know you want to introduce that. Give me one more time, because I think there is some other screen that has popped up, and it's stopping me from, now it's okay.
Yes.
Yes. You think we should do 100%?
There is a fit to screen. Just click the percentage, doctor. There is a fit to screen or something. Yeah, just show me the little right.
See the screen, right? You can't?
Yeah, just click that.
I think best thing is, is Upeksha around? Upeksha, can you share the presentation?
Yeah. Upeksha is here. Shall I share it from here and you can explain it, doctor?
I think that's better. Yes.
Okay, just hold on. We'll do it later.
I'll stop sharing.
You stop sharing. Yes.
Yeah.
So here we go, and I think this let's do it in this way. Yes.
Yes, that's better. Yes, exactly. So that's really nice of you, Intikab. So this is the new look we are looking at, the psychology program, basically the Bachelor of Psychology, Bachelor of Science Psychology program. Psychology major in you, because we are always talking about the individual, so the professional. So in a situation where we are all looking at developing ourselves, so today the discussion, I want to introduce the University of Wisconsin Psychology program, because today, as I told you earlier, the 6th year anniversary, plus the launch of the University of Wisconsin Psychology program in Sri Lanka. So we want you to see the psychology major in you. Every one of us have a psychological aspect. So I would love to invite you to discover the psychology major in you. And next slide. So basically, if we think about psychology, it's a very complicated topic and an interesting topic. And it comes from the origins of humanity, from different philosophies, religions spoke about psychology. But now the Western concept of psychology is a very well developed idea. So if you look at the latest concepts on personality theories, the latest concepts on different psychological concepts, they have a very strong research aspect. So that's why we thought of bringing a good degree, especially a practical program to Sri Lanka, where most of our students would definitely benefit. Because if when I look at the market, the education industry, I understood that the programs that we have are largely academic, meaning they are exam focused, and they don't give any practical much practical knowledge to students in terms of being practitioners and being psychologists who are going to work with the other clients. So the program that we have, a Bachelor of Science, BSc Psychology, there are two pathways. A student after A-level can join the program. The 4-year psychology degree in US, students can complete in Sri Lanka in just 3 years time. Because I had one of my students asking me, so how can a 4-year degree be done in 3 years? It's a very simple answer. Because in America, if you look at the academic year, 2 to 3 months of the academic year is a vacation. Summer is a holiday. But in Sri Lanka, we have summer basically every day. If you can see outside the sky today, it's summer. When America is, it's, I think, the winter. So basically, since we don't have any academic holidays, we have 3 trimesters for a year, whereas most of the US universities have 2 semesters with a summer holiday. Because of that situation, we can actually do an honors degree, a 4-year degree in 3 years time. And there's a special admission route for students with other qualifications. If there are students who are here today with other qualifications, let's say other institutions with 2-year qualifications, they can come into the final year with credit transfer. So that's a very interesting pathway for you. Next slide. So basically, the program that we have with University of Wisconsin Parkside is a very interesting program. And as you can see, it's the highest ranked American psychology degree in Sri Lanka. I'll show you in a little while the rankings, our rankings, and it's the most affordable. So to make the ranking even better, even more sweeter, we have thrown in a merit-based scholarship and a need-based financial grant package for students and parents who are in need, because we understand today with the situation in the world, parents need help and students need extra help to study. So what we have is, we have scholarships, we have payment plans, we have various type of bank loans for students to make this education very affordable. So actually, you can't afford not to do this. It's that affordable. And if you look at the program, the university, University of Wisconsin Parkside is recognized by University Grant Commission. We'll share the documents with you today. And basically, the university, it's part of the University of Wisconsin system, one of the highest ranked in the world. And the students get the identical degree. It's an internal degree. It's not an external degree or a distance like online degree. This is a internal degree that the students receive from the University of Wisconsin. Can we proceed? Next slide. So this is a very important document for Sri Lankan students. You will see in Sinhala and in Tamil and then in English, the 3 languages. It's a University Grant Commission. Before we proceeded further with the approval of the agreement, the MOU with University of Wisconsin, we got the approval from University Grant Commission. So UGC has approved this program. So the University of Wisconsin program that you are doing in Sri Lanka is recognized by University Grant Commission in Sri Lanka. Next slide. Okay, so what makes University of Wisconsin such a big name in Sri Lanka? So you look at the QS ranking of the University of Wisconsin system, you'll see the University of Wisconsin is in the top 65th place global world ranking. So there is no other university in Sri Lanka in that place. So this makes a special day because AIC has partnered with a top university, QS ranking 65. Because I know students who go overseas to other countries, they go to lesser recognized universities, probably in the top 1,000 or even 1,500. Whereas I'm personally familiar with the local university system in Sri Lanka because I partly lecture in some of the local universities. So we don't have a single university in the top 1,000 or even our highest ranked universities around 1,800. So in an environment where people are looking for prestige, recognition, and ranking, so definitely Wisconsin University is one of the best in Sri Lanka. And University of Wisconsin system in the Times Higher Education, they're in the top 50. They're 49th ranked. And University of Wisconsin Parkside, this particular university, it's University of Wisconsin system is a bigger system, and there are different campuses. Wisconsin Parkside is ranked in the 171st place in the US News and World Report, and they are one of the 111th top performance in social mobility, and number 11, number 13, and number 23rd in top public schools in USA. So you are extremely lucky. In case if you decide to do this degree, you will get to affiliate yourself with all these rankings. What I always say is universities can be ranked, but the graduates also have to have their ranking, because what matters most at the end is how recognized are you with your skills, with your knowledge, and with your attributes. So university ranking is a feather, but you need to have the hat and the head to wear the feather. So that's something that I always believe in. Next slide. So if you look at the curriculum, the psychology curriculum, we can share this with the students in detail today. It's a very well-rounded curriculum. As we know, the US degree programs are popular. So first year and the second year students cover a vast area of general education, which is core in an American degree program. And they touch the sciences, and they touch the social sciences and linguistic aspect, and which is very, very important. Communication, as you all know, is a very important aspect of education. And then there are lower division courses in psychology, principles of psychology, foundations of psychology, and counseling, and various basic concepts of psychology. Third year, students get a very interesting experience. They get a chance to directly learn the subjects with the help of the professors in University of Wisconsin Parkside. The students have some interesting subjects which you can see here, things like neuropsychology and cognitive psychology, and there is a whole array of psychology subjects that you can see, which we are offering, including family psychology, health psychology, and I'll get to a little the details of the curriculum later on when Professor Ottu is also talking to you, because he's the ideal person for this session, because the psychology major, psychology program, comes under his department, the College of Sciences and Natural Sciences in University of Wisconsin. Next slide. So the career pathway, education and career pathway for a student. Normally, Sri Lankan students can join the program immediately after A-level. So London A-level or local A-level, you can straight away start the program. The nature of the program at AIC, we have a full-time program. The weekday program, you can see it's happening on Monday to Friday during the normal university days. During class hours, students ask me, what is a class hours? I mean, the answer is very simple. Whenever you live, whenever you study, it's a class, because the whole world is your class. But normally, as a standard, we have our official classes from 8:39 in the morning till around 4:30, 5 p.m. So that's Monday to Friday. And some days when we have guest lectures, industry professionals are invited, so that students could come on Saturday and Sunday and attend to those. And parallel to this, we have a weekend program for working professionals. That's on Saturday and Sunday. The final year is quite unique. Students with prior learning experience, they could join the top-up program. So that's something we can talk about a little bit later. And what happens to you after a bachelor's degree? I think that's a discussion that we are going to talk today. Bachelor's degree is going to be the first step in a career that will take you to absolutely amazing opportunities in human psychology and mental health everywhere in the world. Because what I see is with the growing focus on human development in different areas. So human development, human capital, we look at human capital in schools. We look at human capital in organizations. We look at human capital development in other industries. We look at the development in health industry. So all these places, there is a demand for psychology graduates. So if you, after the bachelor's degree, students could join a career immediately after the bachelor's degree. But if you are looking at a regulated profession like healthcare, if you want to become a psychologist or psychotherapist, you need to do a master's degree. In Sri Lankan context, of course, MSc in psychology, clinical psychology, or with an internship is enough. So AIC is really lucky because we have our one of our sister companies, which is a hospital, one of probably the largest psychiatric hospital in Sri Lanka, the Park Hospital. So with the help of Park Hospital, students are given chance to do their internship. So today, with a 3-year bachelor's degree from University of Wisconsin, you can join a master's degree. We have our master's degree program at AIC with our one of our other partners, and students can join the health sector as a clinical psychologist or psychotherapist. In case if they want to go to USA, I'm sure there are many universities in US where they could do their masters. And for those who wants to do research, I welcome them to the world of academic research and the research areas where you can become a researcher and publish your papers and do a PhD or doctorate in psychology in an area of your choice. Next slide. So career opportunities. I mean, I would allow Aishini to take this forward in these details, but then just to name a few. When I look at the curriculum of University of Wisconsin Parkside, I understood the program is very interesting and it has a very good focus on neuropsychology. That's a very interesting area, a growing area of psychology. And students are geared up, they're ready, they're prepared to become psychologists and psychotherapist. And in some cases, with a bachelor's degree, you can go into psychology, become a psychology assistant and work with the psychologist or psychotherapist. Next slide. And other popular areas of psychology, we can explain. You know these areas: industrial organizational psychology, which is very related to close to HR, and child psychology, which is where the psychologists work with children and sometimes educators to make the environment a more friendlier place and to make the children learn better. And forensic psychology is a very interesting area, and then educational psychology, where even as educators we are involved. So I remember the PhD thesis I did focused on learning and employability. So one of the things I looked at is how friendly are how student friendly are the teachers, and how student friendly are our material. So educational psychology can look at the classroom situation and how things interact so that students exactly understand the communication and achieve the outcomes of education programs. Next slide. So our faculty, I would love to introduce some of the professors we have. So we have from University of Wisconsin, our panel of faculty members, including the department chair and the senior lecturers. And love to welcome our Sri Lankan academic panel. You can see Mr. Intikab is there, Dr. Inoka and Dr. Burhan, very exciting teachers. And Aishini, I think from our recent experience, I understand we have some of the best teachers, professors in Sri Lanka. So this is as a CEO, I would say my job is extremely easy because I'm gifted with a very talented set of people like this, and then with our Wisconsin Parkside faculty, you can see all of them have their PhDs and doctorate in the area of they teach. So these are the things. And finally, next slide. Would want to say it's just more than a degree, because education has a long-term value. It's an investment. It's not just a paper. So what I want to advise and what I want to encourage students, learn every day, because every day you learn something, because it's your life, and life is the most important thing you have. So invest on your life and invest on your career, because ultimately that's what's going to bring you return on investment. Because for those of you who think investing on a house is the best thing, or in whether to invest on a vehicle, whether you invest on iPhone or a Samsung phone or clothing, these are all good things, but they are temporary short-term investments. But the most important investment that you can do is yourself. Invest in yourself. And for the parents, my advice is, my message is, please invest on your child. Give them that focus, give them the investment that they need, so that they can basically be the best in their chosen career. I like to talk a little bit in Sinhala, Intika. That's okay, right?
Yes, please go ahead, Doctor.
Yes, මම අද මේ ඩිස්කෂන් එක පොඩ්ඩක් මේ සිංහලෙනුත් කරන්න කියලා කතා කරන්න කියලා ප්ලෑන් කරා. මොකද අපේ පේරන්ට්ස්ලා මෙතන සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ඉන්නවා අපේ ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස්ත් එක්ක. මේ වගේ මනෝ විද්‍යා වැඩමුළුවක්, ඒ කියන්නේ උපාධි පාඨමාලාවක් අපි හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න තීරණය කරේ ලංකාවේ තියෙන ඩිමාන්ඩ් එක බලලා. මොකද අද බැලුවොත් එහෙම ගොඩක් ඩිග්‍රී ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම්ස් තියෙනවා ලංකාවේ. මේ ඩිග්‍රී ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම්ස් ඇත්තටම ළමයින්ට දෙන ඇකඩමික් වැලියු එක ගොඩක් තියරිටිකල් වැලියු එකක් තමයි හම්බෙන්නේ. හැබැයි අපි බැලුවොත් එහෙම ජොබ් එකකට යන්න ඕන කරන ලංකාවේ හරි නැත්නම් විදේශ රටකදී හරි ජොබ් එකකට යන්න ඕන කරන එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක බැලුවම, ඕන කරන රික්වයර්මන්ට් එක බැලුවම ගොඩක් වෙනස් රික්වයර්මන්ට් එකක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. අපිට ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකත් එක්ක කතා කරාම අපිට තේරෙනවා ළමයින්ට ඕන කරන්නේ, ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස්ලාට ඕන කරන්නේ ගොඩක් ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් hands on experience එකක්, ඒත් එක්කම communication skills සහ subject knowledge එක soft skills develop වෙච්ච experience එකක් තමයි අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ. එහෙම නැතුව exams වලින් විතරක්, theories වලින් විතරක් මේක කරන්න බැරි බව අද ලෝකයේම පිළි අරගෙන හමාරයි. ඒකින් තමයි අද අපි තීරණය කරේ ඔයගලන්ට ඉතා වැදගත් උපාධි පාඨමාලාවක් හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න. ඇමරිකාවේ University of Wisconsin කියන ලෝක ප්‍රසිද්ධ යුනිවර්සිටි එක. මේකේ ලෝක ශ්‍රේණීගත කිරීම අනුව 50 වෙනි තැනට තියෙන යුනිවර්සිටි එකක් අද ගත්තොත් එහෙම ලංකාවේ තියෙන highest rank degree program එක මේක වෙනවා. ඒකින්ද අපි තීරණය කරා ඔයගලන්ට මේ program එක introduce කරලා දෙන්න කියලා ලංකාවේ ඉඳලා ඇමරිකාවට යන්න නැතුව මුළු අවුරුදු 3ම ලංකාවෙම ඉගෙන ගන්න මේ degree program එක කරන්න. එතකොට අද අපි කතා invite කරනවා ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස්ලාට සහ පේරන්ට්ස්ලාට අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙන්න කියලා ඇවිල්ලා අපේ කවුන්සලර්ස්ලා හම්බෙන්න කියලා. මේ සෙෂන් එක ඉවර වුණාට පස්සේ ඔයගලන්ට පුළුවන් අපිත් එක්ක අපොයින්ට්මන්ට් එකක් බුක් කරන්න. ඇවිල්ලා අපේ AIC Campus කොළඹ, එහෙම නැත්නම් AIC Campus Kandy, AIC Campus Jaffna කියන අපේ කැම්පස් වලින් එකකට ගිහිල්ලා AIC Campus කොළඹ වල පින්තූරයක් තමයි මේ පිටිපස්ස ඔයගලන්ට බලන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. අද මම මෙතන නැහැ, මම මේ virtual background එකක් දාලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔයගලන්ට ඇවිල්ලා අපේ කැම්පස් එක හම්බෙන්න පුළුවන්, අපිව හම්බෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒත් එක්කම අද ඉඳලා අද ජනවාරි මාසේ මම හිතන්නේ 30 අද අපි පටන් ගත්තම දවස් 7ක් යනකම් next week සෙනසුරාදා වෙනකම් next week එකේ සෙනසුරාදා වෙනකම් අපි scholarship program එකක් launch කරලා තියෙනවා මේ psychology degree එකට එන්න කියලා. මේ අද ආපු ළමයි session එකට ආපු students ලාට parents ලාට අපි invite කරනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අපිව හම්බුනොත් එහෙම අපේ first year second year program එකෙන් 10% වෙනකම් scholarship එකක් අපි award කරන්න selected students ලාට අපි තීරණය කළා තියෙනවා. ඒත් එක්කම application fee එකේ 50%ක scholarship එකක් අපි offer කරන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මම හිතන්නේ මේ session එකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න නැත්තේ Mr. උපේක්ෂා, එහෙම නැත්නම් Mr. Horace, අපේ marketing head, එතකොට Miss බානු රුෂ්ටියා, ඒගොල්ලත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට කතා කරලා මාව හරි අපේ admission counselor කෙනෙක් එක්ක හරි හම්බෙන්න. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ පහසුකම ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒත් එක්කම අහන්න අමතක කරන්න එපා, අපේ AIC campus එකේ monthly payment plan එකක් තියෙන. ඉතාලම පහසු විදියට ඔයගලන්ට interest එකක් නැතුව ඔයගලගේ tuition fee එක installments එකෙන් ගෙවලා අපිත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So thank you. Intika, over to you.
Yes. So that was Dr. Gishan Sumanasiri sharing some of the important thoughts on how does the psychology program really works. So me being part of your panelist here and also in your classroom, we're also going to discuss with Miss Aishini, who is also going to be one of your faculty members. I just want to share something with students on, psychological elements of certain things which basically I tell students to know of. So can everyone look at the screen? You can actually activate your microphone if you want to you share something, or you can just chat with me on this. Can you look at this and tell me, guys, what do you see on your screen? Especially referring to all the students, and I request all the students to label the username with your name so that we can contact you, keep in touch with you. So students, what do you basically see in the screen? Anyone can use the chat option, or anyone can use the mic.
It's a bird, right?
It's a bird.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So this is, are others? Others can comfortably, anyone who is shy to the microphone, shy to the camera can, of course, reply it. You can type here. I'm just typing it there. You can type here. You can type your answers here as well. So I don't know how many of you all, students, teachers, whoever who is here with us, how many of you would have actually checked something on Facebook where you see a pair of shoe, and there is a whole argument going with regarding to that pair of shoe. Is it green or is it pink? And you will see like 40% of people saying it's green, 40% of people saying it's pink, and there will be 20% of people who would say something totally bizarre and crazy to those two colors. Like 20% can say it's red or it's black, but you would actually see something else. This is something with regarding to the coordinations of your eyes of what you actually see. So in psychology, what I always actually see is there are various ways to look into things, and it's important to understand which way is the best to suit your audience. I'm just going to share an interesting example with you guys. Is something like this. So this is related to many things when I will be teaching with you some of the important concepts on business psychology, where people in psychology also should know how to, promote things, talk about things. Do you know that there is a perception created in our mind that when we see something red, it is always associated with the color hot? Likewise, the color yellow. So you would see most of the successful restaurants in the world, their branding, their brand image, all this moves around the color red and yellow. It can be Subway, it can be Burger King, it can be McDonald's, it can be KFC. Somewhere you would see the color yellow and red associated. So you want to know more details? Of course, you have to join our courses, right? Final example is the possibility of pricing. Now, this is basically when you want to psychologically talk about pricing. Already there is something called psychological pricing, which you guys would know, like people like Bata, DSI use. We call it odd number pricing. This is not about that. This is the psychological element of giving a product in a different way. So if you go to movies and if you see that there is a popcorn at $5 and there is also a popcorn at $9, you know that people will definitely buy the popcorn at $5. How do you make them to buy the $9 popcorn? Is simply introduce a gimmick popcorn called the medium popcorn and price it like this. Okay, this happens actually in many places, right? So when you join my classes, I actually take you out to a various proportion of practical elements of what you can do. I in fact have a picture of people shopping in a supermarket. I believe that if you want to do marketing well in the psychological aspect, a supermarket is a place where you are basically doing super marketing. So that is basically a taste of what we are going to have with us here. Can I ask Miss Aishini Amarasinghe our assistant lecturer and who is actually part of the faculty of psychology of AIC Campus to come forward. You may share your screen, Aishini, and you can share your thoughts on the aspect of what type of careers are there for people. Over to you, Aishini.
Thank you so much. I see
Welcome.
everybody has shared their videos, but trust me, you wouldn't want to see me at this time. So no to that. I'm still chilling at home, so no, hell no to that, I would say now. But yeah, I would honestly talk about psychology, the careers of psychology, and I would also like to say about the personal experience which I've had, because I've lived in States for almost 8 years. I finished my bachelor's there. I completed my master's. I'm still waiting for my research results on that. So I would talk about what my experiences there were and what careers I went through and what internships I did, because I've done a couple of summer internships. I did internship classes there as well, and I work in certain cities as well. So I would actually talk about those with you all. Let's share this with you. Okay. Perfect. I hope everyone can see the screen, I guess.
Perfect. If you can just make it the full screen, yeah,
Yes,
I think
we can.
everything is lovely.
It's
We
Apple.
can
It
see you
takes
in the
time.
screen.
It's Apple again.
Yeah, it takes time.
Bless you.
Why do you keep on blaming Apple? It's a invention that happened in the world.
Dr.
Yeah.
Gishan, I always believed that there are two types of people in the world, like some who are fans of Superman, some who are fans of Batman, and those who are fans of Superman are not the fans of Batman, and vice versa. Likewise, in the world, there are Samsung users and Apple users, and vice versa, they hate each other.
There are fans of both also.
Not me. All right. So when we talk about psychology, what exactly is psychology? Since there are like 25 of you guys who are being connected with us, I would like the students to know, according to you, what do you think psychology is? Or do you guys have any idea regarding that by any chance? Anyone? Okay. Psychology is actually what we say is the study of mind and behavior, and this is according to the American Psychological Association, which is also called as the APA. When we talk about psychology, we talk about different kinds of behaviors, their cognition, emotions, different types of mental disorders, what people go through, depression, personalities, how their mind works, what kind of disabilities their mind goes through, different kinds of cognitive issues they have, what kind of wellness, what not, whether certain kinds of drugs that have been causing them problems, alcohol abuse, and things like that. So we pretty much actually go through every little detail when it comes to psychology, about their behavior, about their cognitive process, about the human development, so that we understand how this works. We understand how human mind develops, or if it's not developing, we try to understand each and every fact when it comes to that. When we talk about the major branches of psychology, there are different types of psychology factors. There are different types of psychologies which we focus on. And even at AIC, like Dr. Gishan already mentioned, there are different kinds of psychology courses that we are going to teach you guys, so that you guys can understand each and every aspect of it. So that you will also know what kind of psychology or what kind of format to use in each client or patient when you do your further studies as well. So when we talk about abnormal psychology, this is actually dedicated for patients who have abnormal behavior or thinking, and also who are pretty much against the social norms kind of thing is what we say, and different what unusual behaviors people have and what causes this, and different kinds of experiences they go through is what abnormal psychology is actually. Sorry. Behavioral psychology. This is a study of connection between the mind and subsequent behaviors with the behavioral psychologists. We go through different kinds of behavioral disorders and see how the mind plays and in the physical response as well. Clinical psychology is where they directly provide comprehensive healthcare to patients who are suffering from mental illnesses. Many psychologists try to find the kind of diagnosis to this and find the symptoms of a mental illness as well. When it comes to cognitive psychology, it is actually formed of the mental process, where we try to obtain the process and how we store information in the brain, how about the study memory, the perception, learning, all kinds of process comes under this. This is actually one of the main kind of psychology we focus on, because I personally feel that this is being connected to all the other fields of psychology as well, because even whatever the therapies we use in other psychologies, I still feel that cognitive psychology plays a major role when it comes to the field. Counseling psychology. This is what I've majored in. This is what I've studied in, what I've worked actually for almost 6 years living in States. I've dealt with a lot of drug and alcohol abused patients or clients. Then I've also dealt with rape victims, rapists, and even when it comes to family marriage counseling sessions, we deal with this as then students come over to counselors to deal with their issues, to deal with their classes and things. So this is what I focused on most of my career, I would say, because I'm interested in that field. I've been a counselor for a while. I've done internships as a counselor. My summer internships were mostly of being a counselor. So that was this. We actually focus on certain kind of emotional strain, emotional stress, and also if there was any kind of social or physical factors that have involved in this, we try to focus on them as well. Developmental psychology is what we both emotionally and physically being involved in the course of people's lives. Studying human development from birth to until the old age is what developmental psychology is. We try to assess and diagnose, then treat various type of issues, and to see if there are certain kind of developmental delays in children is what we focus on that. Educational psychology includes methods, how information is being processed and absorbed, like memory, concepts, and even different kinds of individual differences also affect how a person learns. So those are the things that we focus on educational psychology. And we're going to see how different kinds of schools or private universities or even state universities use these kinds of formats as well. Experimental psychology is where we focus on the psychological process like attention, memory, reasoning, even perception, I would say. So we try to see their behaviors, and they try to experiment on them, and they try to contribute to work, different kinds of branches, and to try to build a larger conclusion on this, and so that we can actually come to a conclusion on to see what method works best for the children or the adults as well. Forensic psychology is something where we work with the legal system and the field of in the field of psychology, where we find some kind of evaluations, research with the legal proceedings. This is also a little bit closer to criminal justice. And criminal justice was something I actually did a minor in my bachelor's, and I would say definitely it is very, very interesting. You get to see things that is very fun, actually, I would say, because there are certain, you get to go to places, you get to investigate on certain things. Even though you're involved with the legal system, you get to still see new things around the legal system. You get to understand how psychology works with them, so which is actually kind of fun and entertaining as well. Health psychology, this actually influences with certain kind of diseases, illnesses, and even certain social factors as well. We try to find how and why people get sick, or what kind of, how psychologically it affects. If a person gets sick, how does that affect? For example, if a person gets cancer, I would say, how does that psychologically affect that person? How does that affect the person mentally? So we try to focus on those kind of factors as well. Talking of health psychology, actually, my first class is starting tomorrow on that. So I would actually talk about those things. I would actually know about how illnesses affect psychology, how each and every person's different aspects are from when it comes to health and psychology, and how they are linked together as well. Human factor psychology, this is little bit close to the business side, I would say, because in this we what mainly is done is research that improves transportation, consumer products, telecommunication, and things like that. So what the main goal of this course or this form of human factor psychology is to create a safer and a more effective system, so that people would understand the expectations and how to interact with products and the technology as well. Industrial organizational psychology, it is actually a study of how human behavior impacts the industry and organizations. It helps to work in a situation and develop a plan for a certain kind of performance and even a work-life balance in a situation for the employees as well. Personality psychology explains why people display certain types of behavior, like, for example, aggression, and also the study of different kinds of disorders between each other. We try to find the personality characteristics and how this can be separated, or how we interact with these personalities is what is normally focused on that. Then school psychology is where the health school environment is the goal of every school psychologist. So we try to focus on how school psychology is important when it comes to a school or a university, and how to make the best environment for student learning. And even at AIC, we have counselors that actually does help students if they have issues with classes or anything, with exams, assignments, that could actually help them, that they can talk to and find a solution, or to find a learning method, or how to plan each and every class, or how to plan their assignments, how to separate them. So we also in AIC do have that. And social psychology is how to understand the individual's behaviors and personalities. And we try to find the social factors that influence the people like society, or whether it can be culture or certain kinds of personal norms that affects them. So we focus on those things and certain kind of what influences them, like even could be prejudice, discrimination, racism, things like that as well. And then comes the sports psychology. This is focused most on the athletes, which help them to give their best performance or the optimal performance on the field, and they actually have to in how we interact with the parents, coaches, and helps in injuries of rehabilitation, then positive communication, team building, and so on. So when we talk about careers in psychology, we have separate different topics or different careers to consider. Here are some of them which I have actually mentioned. Like, for example, the art therapist, aviation psychologist, career or vocational counselor, clinical psychologist, consumer psychologist, counselor, engineering psychologist, experimental psychologist, forensic or criminal psychologist, then genetic counselor, neuropsychologist, health psychologist. So we have a number of ones. Then we have the industrial and organizational psychologist, school psychologist, special educational trainer, sports psychologist, traffic psychologist, and all. There are also other careers that does not have to have the word psychologist, or it does not have to have the word called counselor. You can also there are options as like working as a caseworker or a childcare worker, or as a college recruiter. Then what else? Even psychology does also help to become a school teacher as well. So it does not have to have the word called psychologist or the word counselor. I did my internship as a research analyst, which I also majored in psychology. So, but still you get to work on the experimental side. If you don't want to be a psychologist, you still have the option of being a research specialist or a research analyst, and even a youth service worker or a scheduling coordinator, or even a lecturer or a resident service coordinator. So it's not being put into one little category. Like, it's not said that this is the job you have to do. No, it does not have that. You have a wide range of options. You have a wide range of career considerations you can actually do for, because it's a wide area. Psychology is not just one particular side. You have many career options that you can actually focus on, that does help you in day-to-day lives as well. So when we talk about the salary wise, this is my experience on when I lived in States, and this is the statistics which was given to which I've seen on the APA format on the APA website. But this does not have to be yours. This does not have to. I have to say that because even though this says that with a bachelor's degree you earn $23 an hour in States, I do not completely say that, because it also depends on what kind of experiences you have as well. Because on my first job, when I worked in New York, my starting salary was $31 an hour. So like I said, it depends on your experiences. I've done certain kind of summer internships. I did classes. I did volunteer work. Then getting involved in the school work in your universities. Those does actually help you out with that. So I wouldn't say that $23 an hour is your fixed rate. No, it's not. It can change depending on your experiences as well. So I always suggest that do internships, do summer internships, or even regular internships, even ones that takes you like 2 or 3 days a week, or even 2 days a week, do try to commit those few hours, because it does actually help you for your resume and does make your life better, to be honest, for your career path. So because even with a bachelor's degree, there is an opportunity that you can actually have a good job as well. Then when we come to the psychologists for a master's and PhD, yes, the salary range completely changes. Like I said again, it does depend on what kind of master. Even if you have a master's degree, experience does matter. And since AIC is giving you the option of the internships, and since there is a hospital that helps you, I think you guys do have a better chance on that. Because when it was for me, I have to keep looking for internships. I had to go to place to find for internships and things like that. But I would say that you guys are lucky in that way, because you guys have that opportunity where AIC does provide you with that. AIC has that option for you guys as well. So I think that is one reason also, that is an advantage for most of you guys as well. And these are some of my experiences living in the States, which sometimes I don't regret at all, actually. And there's one more thing I would say, if you guys are planning to fly to States for your higher studies, or if you guys are planning to get a bachelor's here and wants to go to your master's for the States, these are few of the experience which I've had during my 7.5 to close to 8 years of living there. You get a new culture, you get a new environment, you have new friends, you get new opportunities, you have great chances of getting scholarships as well. You have international experience on resumes, which is also a plus point, I would say, definitely. And also the fact that you get to go to a new environment, you get to do things by yourself. Because for me, I didn't even know how to even cook rice, to be honest with you. When I left the States, I had no clue what to do. I had no idea how to cook. I didn't used to iron my clothes. I didn't used to do laundry, nothing. But living there, you get to learn everything by yourself. You get to learn to do everything by yourself, which is good, I would say, because you get to do some things which you actually don't think you would even be able to do. You get to do your jobs, you get to do part-time jobs or full-time jobs or on-campus jobs, because I worked in the on-campus cafeteria. I also worked in a gas station as a part-time job. I worked in a residency as a waitress, because those experiences are something that can never go off, I would say, because I've loved those experiences. I've had a good time. I go out with friends. I've as well finished my bachelor's there, 3 years bachelor's there, 3.5 actually. So the experience you get there is actually nice, because it's not an everyday thing as well. You get to travel and gain new perspective in the world. You get to see new places, like I said. You get to experience that kind of feelings. Also, you actually have like it said, you get a really new perspective of things. You get to do things by yourself. You get to learn how to do things by yourself, which is also a very good experience as well. I would also suggest you guys to go onto the American Psychological Association, because that also website gives you a lot of options. It gives you a lot of methods, different career options, educations, publications, and so on. It's actually a very helping hand, I would say, because it does actually help each of you guys to see what careers you can choose, or what if you're for your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD, whatever the field you are, it actually does help you very well. So I would honestly suggest you guys to go for it, have a look onto that website and see what options you guys have, what publications they have posted, what kind of fundings and awards they have been awarded as well. So honestly, I would actually suggest you guys to do that when you have time, because that honestly does help to each and every one of you guys. So that is it. I think that's it, yes.
Thanks, Aishini. I think that was really interesting, and I want to actually remind students that Aishini joined AIC very recently as an assistant lecturer. So she has 8 years of study and experience in US, and she did her first degree in Mizzou, right?
Yes,
and then
Missouri State University.
Southeastern Missouri University, and then just completed her master's from Pennsylvania, right? University of Pennsylvania.
Penn State University.
Yeah, Penn State. So great to have you, Aishini, and like to really like what you presented. And I think Aishini did one course just finished in the education and psychology program, and students really liked what the way she presented. And this is all in our I think experience, because as Aishini said, the experience that she had in US made gave her new insight to life, so that made her who she is. So Intikab, you want to take it further?
Yes, so I would be actually showing you guys how the campus would be presented here in Colombo, but I'm taking a few seconds to actually download the presentation. So Dr. Gishan, let's move on to the Q&A, and before we conclude, we will be actually showing them the campuses. And before I invite Professor Emmanuel Otu, from the Wisconsin Parkside University, I would like to restate the message posted by Dr. Gishan in the chat box, saying that we are happy to announce a special scholarship for the psychology degree program. And one thing is, we are unable to locate some of the students here because of your screen name, or if you are joining from a link, meaning you can join without downloading Zoom as well. So you have to just go and edit your name, and we can connect with you with regarding to the scholarships and the options on whoever the counselor who has been chit-chatting and talking with you. So I warmly welcome Professor Emmanuel Otu, who has been patiently watching the entire program, who's been a long friend of the AIC campus, as well as Dr. Gishan Sumanasiri. So there would be important questions to be addressed by our students. Dear students, please make use of this opportunity to discuss it directly with the Dean of the faculty as well. We will start off with Professor Emmanuel Otu to come on board. And let's start the Q&A with Dr. Gishan. Over to you, Professor.
Yeah, I was muted a little bit. So
let's wait for some questions, Professor Emmanuel, and see whether there are any questions from the students.
Okay.
So,
yes. So please take your time you may also on your microphones, or you all can shut your questions with us, and we will be going through it. So you would want to know about transferring, you would want to know about the course, the curriculum, anything regarding to the ranking or the recognition or the cost. We are basically there to help you with this.
Professor Emmanuel, is it possible for you to, while the students are getting ready with their questions, I'll start the questions and get it going.
Yeah.
If you can introduce the program, especially the psychology department, and what type of a program you have.
Yeah, thank you, Gishan. I think the University of Wisconsin Parkside, the past 4 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have been working there for the past 4 years. So we have other types of relationships, and this psychology degree is the most recent one that just happened about 4 months or 3 months ago that we finalized that relationship. Essentially, the student stays in Sri Lanka and can earn the degree, from UW Parkside. If you were to get a visa to come and you were denied a visa and your interest is for you to study psychology, you can still do that with our faculty from the United States, from UW Parkside, teaching you directly while you're still at home. There are some advantages for that. It costs you a little less. Like Asini mentioned, when you come to the US to do your master's degree, you're more likely to earn money while doing that because the research group you will join, the person who is your mentor, is likely to be paying you as a graduate assistant for you to do the work for them. Whereas if you come as an undergraduate, you have to pay the tuition with some scholarships. So if there are any specific questions, I know that Dr. Sumanasiri has presented the curriculum the way it is. But if there are specific questions that the students want to ask about the program itself, myself, personally, I am originally from Nigeria. So working with international relationships is always very exciting to me. So when I made the connection with Gishan 4 years ago, so we have been kind of trying to do all kinds of things on different continents, so with that, so it's always exciting for me to work with international students, because I was one myself. I went to school in Nigeria. That's where I got my bachelor degree. And then I went to Canada and did my PhD, and then I came to the US to work. So all that has taken me, almost 31 years now. So I've spent about 31 years in the United States, mostly in education. So currently I'm the Dean of the College of Natural and Health Sciences, and my college has about 1,700 students in biology, chemistry, math, physics, psychology, exercise science, sport management, the nursing program, environmental studies, geosciences. So there's a whole kind of so many different programs within my college that I oversee as the dean of that college. So you have the first question, Gishan.
Do you have a question?
No, I thought you were going to start things off.
Okay, yeah. Yes, if you can, I think, explain the psychology degree, especially the final year, the subjects. I think I showed the subjects earlier. Intikab, is it possible to share that screen again? You have that with you?
Yes. Hold on a second.
So
while he's bringing that up, I think I'm familiar with that screen. Typically in the United States, unlike maybe in Sri Lanka where you're following the British system of education, in the United States, they believe in liberal education, which means that you take a lot of credits from outside your field. My field is chemistry, okay? But in the United States, I might take, you require 120 credits to graduate. And out of that 120 credits, at the University of Wisconsin Parkside, 36 of those credits have to be general education, which means for myself as a chemistry student, I have to go take classes in history, classes in music, classes in theater arts, because they want you to come out as a well-rounded citizen who appreciates other aspects of life endeavor. So then I can choose other subjects that I want to minor in. But for this particular program, what we did in the first relationship with AIC was to develop the course for the first and second year. So you have courses that are being taught at AIC that we have equated to our courses at UW Parkside, which was the original relationship we had leading to UGC recognition of Parkside being a partner with AIC, which I think Dr. Sumanasiri did present at that time. Okay. And then in the third year, so the first 2 years, you're going to be taking the classes from faculty who are resident in Sri Lanka, like Sini, Indigap, and the rest of the people. Okay, you have math classes, you have art history, you have public speaking, civilization, critical thinking, sociology. So all this is developing your human appreciation of life. And then in the third year, you're going to be taking courses specifically from faculty who are at the University of Wisconsin Parkside. And those courses are specific for psychology. So you will take courses from the different aspects of psychology, because usually for the bachelor degree in psychology, you don't have any specialization. You take a whole range of field. And then when you decide, okay, I like this type of psychology, that's when you go to a master's degree or you go to do the PhD. Just the same way that, for myself, when I was an undergraduate, I was taught all kinds of chemistry. And then I took a liking to a specific type of chemistry and went and spent a lot of, 4 more years learning a little in depth in that aspect of chemistry and got my doctorate degree, from there. So that's in a nutshell that. So I think you have a question. I would like to know how successful will this be as an online course? How often do we have to visit the campus? Okay, so there's a question on the chat line.
Yeah, can I start that question? I'll start the answer. So probably Professor Otto can contribute. So there is the option for students, the first 2 years curriculum. We have the on-site teaching aided by parallel online recorded teaching, because as we do here right now, we have the entire set of classes in AIC happening through Microsoft Teams, and it's live. And like this, you can have a one-to-one interaction today, either Aishini or Nicola or Naslia or Intika or Dr. Burhan, any of our faculty. They have a real good interactive session with the students, like what we do here. And in addition to physical classes in our Colombo campus, Kandy campus, and Jaffna campus, we have the online classes. So for the students who miss the class, we have a learning portal called Moodle, a learning management system, LMS, where the lecture recordings are uploaded with the presentations and the assignments. So there is a option for asynchronous studies as well. So there is synchronous studies, which is either physically there, online there, and the other option. And only the exams are the cases where you have to either come to one of our campus. So recently we have signed up with a big examination institute, online examination body called Prometric, who is world famous for exam invigilation and exam moderation. So even that has happened. This COVID pandemic has brought up unprecedented times. So unprecedented situations require innovative thinking. So now we have done that. I think the third year, Professor Otto will explain further, but then the third year is entirely done by the University of Wisconsin Parkside faculty with the parallel tutoring of AIC teachers. So that can also be done online. So just to answer your question, yes, you can do it online. but it's not an online degree. It's a real physical degree, but the option of hybrid delivery is there. And so before I go further, I would like to hand over to Professor Otto so that he can add on to this.
Yeah, I think you covered most of it. Now, the pandemic has made people to become innovative. Okay, so prior to the pandemic, who will be offering classes in Zoom? We'll be offering classes in MS Teams. So people wouldn't really, want that. But because we are, I can have a meeting with, barring, for example, different time zones. I can have a meeting with people in different countries sitting in my house, just like I'm doing with you guys right now.
Yeah.
It's actually about 11 midnight for me, so I'm falling asleep, halfway. So it's about 11, but that's the nature of international business, is that you do it at other times. So you guys about 12 and a half hours different. So I'm still on Fridays, 11:53 on Friday here, PM, but you guys are already like what, 12?
We are on Saturday midday.
So you're on Saturday. So that's the nature of that. So in the third year, you're going to have our faculty from the University of Wisconsin Parkside as the lead instructor, the lead teacher. And then you're going to have people like Sini and other people who are going to be on ground at AIC supporting the course. Okay, but the faculty member who is at Parkside is the lead instructor. That's the one that puts up the material into the system, and then you can access the system. Now, keep in mind, when you finish the first 2 years, you will be admitted into the University of Wisconsin Parkside University. So you are a student of University of Wisconsin Parkside, but you are resident in Sri Lanka. And we are delivering the course to you with support from your local lecturers to make you more successful in the class. Now, our students who are in the same class, so you are going to be in the same class with students who are in the United States, because they will be taking the class also from our lecturers. So you may have a class of 20 people. There may be 10 people from AIC sitting in Colombo, Jaffna, or maybe Kandy, and there will be 10 people who are somewhere else in the world. Okay, but the instruction is such a way that some of them may be synchronous, depending on the time zone. Like if the person can stay awake like I am and teach it at 9 o'clock before you go. So if you have like an 8 o'clock class in the morning, it's more likely to be synchronous. Okay, so all of you come on Zoom or come on MS Teams and everybody interact with each other. And then there will be some aspects of the course that may be asynchronous. So the instructor will just put things there. And that is the time that your local lecturer will now take over to make sure that you do understand those things that are put out there. So, sometimes I can call it maybe just a hybrid, kind of, education, but, mostly most of the things come back to University of Wisconsin Parkside. But keep in mind that you will have access to all the resources that are at University of Wisconsin Parkside. You'll be given a student ID number. That is University of Wisconsin Parkside ID number. You will be able to access the library at Parkside, just to get electronic documents. And you can use that privilege that you have and you are an alumni, when you graduate, we are hoping to claim you as an alumni of University of Wisconsin Parkside because we offer you the degree. And the hope is that perhaps when it's time for you to graduate, you might have the opportunity to get a visitor's visa to come and attend the graduation here at Parkside. And there will be a special ceremony, for that a whole bunch of the people who are graduating, come back and do the graduation and maybe explore some other possibilities for doing a master's degree or a PhD program.
Thanks, Professor Otto, for that clear answer. And I think this is the curriculum as I think Aishini also explained earlier. The American degree program is very famous for well-rounded general education. So you can see the first year, second year, there is a mix of social psychology, introduction to human development, then general psychology, psychology of aging, sensation perception, abnormal psychology, sociology, and there is some courses on American government because it's American degree, American government and politics, economics, definitely the English composition 1, composition 2, and then public speaking, and then critical thinking. And the communication is one of the most important aspects of an American education system, I see, because whether you are an engineer or whether you are a scientist or psychologist, still, or even a business graduate, you should be able to clearly communicate with the world. Otherwise, the education has not given the proper value. And then the third year, the specialized courses, you can see introduction to neuroscience, which is a very interesting course I see in University of Wisconsin Parkside, because I have seen that the increased focus on brain functionality and for the neural work, quite interesting, and cognitive psychology and research methods in psychology, so that you can continue your undergraduate level research. And then neuropsychology, pharmacology and psychological assessment, and adolescent psychology and adolescent development, learning and memory, health psychology, counseling psychology, and abnormal psychology. I looked at the curriculum and it really struck me that it's very interesting set of courses which we never very rarely see in other universities, because these are some modules which are very up to date, and the name says it's in the 21st century. not prehistorical concepts, and that's an important thing. We are learning things which are up to date and modern.
Yeah, I think I have Tanya Kuberan. Is that the right way to say your name? Tanya has 2 questions there. What is the entry requirement? And are there any admission exams? Okay. So let me take the entry requirement to the second year, to the third year. Okay. Now, as Dr. Sumanasiri mentioned, you have your A level, right? So that is your entry requirement for the first 2 years, is your A level. Now, when you complete your first year, during the first trimester of your second year, you will apply to the University of Wisconsin Parkside to be admitted in there. And you will, have in the application, you will say that you are a student who is taking this, special program between AIC and UW Parkside. You are a transfer student. You are considered a transfer student. So there are no admission entry requirements. The only requirement for you to be in the psychology program is that you have to have a GPA of 2.0 or 2.5. So your GPA has to be 2.5 and above. Otherwise, once you are admitted into the psychology program doing the year 1 and year 2, you will just be a transfer student when you finish. And the level of scholarship you get will be determined by your GPA in your second trimester, because that's when the admission will be made to you. But then when you finish the third trimester of the second year, if your GPA has changed, then we are going to consider that. So basically, it is that A-level requirement that you need to get into the year 1 and year 2, and then you fill out an application as a transfer, as a student who is being admitted into Parkside but residing in Sri Lanka. So that's the basic thing. You have to complete the first 2 years. And then you just transfer directly.
Answered that question. Anything else, Professor, to add to that? So that, one additional thing, yes, I think Tanya says thank you. So Tanya, the entry requirement to AIC Wisconsin Parkside is A-levels, either local A-level or London A-level or any other equivalent qualification which is recognized by the UGC or recognized by University of Wisconsin and AIC. And in terms of the costing, let me explain this, because I think last week I had a chat with Aishini. She came to my office and had a chat because we didn't meet for a long time after the interview. So Aishini said, when I told her that we are offering a psychology degree, I told her the news and she said, fantastic, because she said if she had the option of doing her bachelor's in Sri Lanka, she would have done that, because the cost of studying in another country is quite expensive. So, and then sometimes parents with the current situation, they prefer to have their family, the students' children close to them, so that any point of time, if you want, you can transfer. So I want to add one more thing here, the cost saving, because I know approximately the cost of University of Wisconsin annual tuition fee, Professor Otto, it's around $16,000, right?
Yes.
Yes, and living cost probably would be around another $10,000 to $12,000, the budgeted living cost everywhere in the US. So it's an investment around $28,000 for a year. So if you look at this $28,000 for 4 years, that's going to be around $110,000, the total investment. In Sri Lankan currency, it's going to be around 20 million Sri Lankan rupees, a lot of money. So with our program, the new partnership, what we are offering, students can actually save around 86% of the cost. I'm correct there. So you can actually do the program with a saving of 86% for your undergraduate degree. So that's a very big saving. And then you can use that saved money probably towards your higher education, can go for your master's to US. And if not, can continue your professional development with a career. So just a small idea about the scholarship. I'm very grateful to Professor Otto as a long-time colleague and a friend of ours for giving this opportunity for Sri Lankan students. 86% scholarship is unheard of. And it's a big saving in terms of financial resources, because the Sri Lankan rupee is not going up. We are facing a situation where the dollar might go up further. So in a context like this, I think this will be a good welcoming news for our parents.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel and Dr. Gishan. My situation is I am from an international school, and currently, due to the situation, I got my AS predicted results, and I'm about to sit for my A-levels. And my mother actually saw this program, and I'm very much interested in psychology. So will AS be considered for an entry requirement, or should I complete my A-levels to join?
We would like to see your full result sheet, and I think A level is required in most cases, but then if you can talk to one of our admission counselors after this session and see a unique requirement, because for students who don't have A level, we have a university pathway preparation program called Foundation. But let's see, because each case is unique, and we would like to see your result sheets for A's, and then we'll advise you on based on that, because I need to explain the education system also is a little different, because in US there is no A level, it's high school. And so that's a high school qualification, which is actually in between O level and A level. It's somewhat similar to AS level, because
Yes.
high school is 12 years of schooling. Can I know your name? You are?
I'm Tanya.
Okay, Tanya. Good. So high school is exactly 1 year more than O level, but 1 year less than Sri Lankan A level. So what we need to do is we have to look at your grades, and we'll get back to you probably within the course of the day. So you can contact who's your counselor spoke to you, Banu or Upeksha?
I'm not very sure of that. I just sent you a direct message of my details that I want to make an appointment.
I think Mr. Horace, who's the head of the psychology program admission, is here. I can see him in the screen. He will contact you. I hope my answer was clear. Because,
thank you very much.
Because on the subject sequence and all these things, we have to sometimes take a careful decision, because admissions team has to okay it. It's not an individual decision. Okay, so if you can submit your O-level and A-level documents, we should be able to get back to you with a proper answer. As
thank you very much.
As Professor Otto clearly said, the third year admission for the program will depend on the grade point average and GPA that you score in the first 2 years. And so even students who are once they're in the program, they have to earn themselves and move further from first year to second year to third year. So that progression also requires committed work. I'm not going to say memorizing, because memorizing is not pure memorizing, and exams is not the education, but you have to be a holistic student. I'm definitely support of education being enjoyable, education being fun, and education being something really inspiring. So that's something we can share in AIC. I like to invite our head of marketing, Mr. Horace Fredericks, who's there on the screen, to say something on the program, because he's the main organizer of this event. So Horace and his team has done a wonderful job to invite you all. Horace, you want to say something? We can't hear you, Horace.
You're muted.
Yes.
Horace, your mic is on mute. Unmute it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, the content of the
You're
is we speak to students and we provide the facilitation for them to enroll and be comfortable. So any student who is interested, you all can speak to the counselor or to me. My number is not 7744366728. Please call us, and we'll provide the best conditions for you all. If you're actually interested, what I would suggest you is come to our institute, go through the counseling with your parents. We can give you all the details possible. You can spend, if you can spend it about an hour or 1.5 hours, we can give you a full detailed detailed session of the program. That will be the best thing, so that the parents will realize what are the, now when you're investing money, you should know what's the institute that you're depending on. So it's better for you to come here, visit us. I would invite you, give us a call, make us get an appointment. Our counselors, we will give you an appointment, a time, come on that and have a full counseling session. That will be the best thing. Then you will clear out all the doubts, and you will know, you will be 100% sure where your money is going. So this is the most important thing. This is all done free of charge. There is no cost involved except your traveling costs coming to our institute, and there is parking available as well. Give us a call, we'll arrange you parking. So that's about it, and hope to see you. So from now onwards, you can contact us. We are open from Monday to Saturday half a day. you can come and see us, and we'll give you a full session of details so that you can hopefully get enrolled, and hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.
I have shared the number here. You can see 077 44 36 728 in the chat box. And he's our head of marketing and the head of the psychology program. Fantastic person. And you will see he's very practical way of explaining, and his team, they are very nice admissions team. I think Horace, you are inside the campus today, right? I can see your office. So I'm outside the campus. You can see the building. This building inside today, Horace is staying inside the building. I think Mr. Intikab is ready to do a presentation on the facilities. I think Inti, are you ready with the facilities?
Yes. Okay. So
Okay.
just we are about to conclude this wonderful program, and I hope you guys have posted all your questions with regarding to this. Before we conclude, I think it would be awesome to check out the facilities we have for you. You can actually locate us easily at Havelock Road by typing IMC or AIC Campus. You could get the links as fast as possible to actually drop in whenever you're passing Timriga Siaya Junction, Police Park, Visaka, etc. So these are some of the facilities we have been providing to all of our students inside our campus. As I said to you guys earlier, that we have the largest amount of exposure in medical education for many years in Sri Lanka. It's almost for 2 decades. We pioneered English medium education in the Russian and the Eastern European sector, and now we are embracing this to other programs. So we have all the resource panel, we have all the necessary infrastructure to support what students want. So you have to convey these to your parents who are going to do the investment on behalf of your future, your education with us. So these are some of the awesome facilities which you will be experiencing with us. And we have quite spacious classrooms. We believe in focus group discussions. A focus group discussion is where group discussions in classrooms have to be very minimal, where the lecturer has access to each student to check their notebooks, to speak to them, and vice versa for students to speak to their respective lecturers as well. Our classrooms are quite compact. We work with about 20-25 students in a classroom. All the classrooms are equipped with personalized projectors to suit the environment of the classroom, and computers to be placed there with HDMI cables for all the faculty members to have the hassle-free, fantastic lesson for you guys whenever they meet for 2 or 2.5 hours. Also, we have whiteboards placed here, and these are some of the facilities you are checking at the moment. The same facilities are replicated, I would say, in our Jaffna and Kandy branch as well. You would almost miss whether you're in Colombo or not, because we have invested in the same facilities there. What you see now is the counseling room, which you will be immediately set forth with Mr. Horace Fredericks and his team. You need to go through an entire story with regarding to your career. The story starts from here. So you will be shown through a presentation of what are the careers, to what are the options you have in psychology, and etc. So this is basically the front office area of AIC. And we also have a student lounge. Whenever you guys get free time, you are literally free to watch movies, play games, relax here, and use this for whatever you would want to do as a student. These are some of the photographs being captured while our students have been here. So that is that. Also, there are 2 dining areas. This is one out of those 2 dining areas. We have a large hall for students to bring in their food, or they can purchase it around and they can eat. And finally, nothing finishes off if we don't have a classic graduation to conclude with your studies, where you would be taking out your cloaks, and your degrees been awarded front of your mom and dad who has invested in you, trusted in you, in the presence of all your lecturers. So this is me with my students. I'll be proud there. We all will be there to witness this. So thank you very much, guys, for focusing on this presentation. It was lovely to have you all here. It was amazing to have Dr. Emmanuel Otto all the way from Wisconsin Parkside who was with us. We also had a lovely presentation by Aishini Amarasinghe and also Dr. Gishan Sumanasiri to take the session forward in this particular time. We had 20 students joined with us, and thank you very much for investing your Saturday morning with us.